If you're an educator or entrepreneur, publishing videos but barely growing your channel and business, you're using the wrong playbooks. But what if I told you YouTube's CEO has been sharing the secrets to win on his freaking platform in plain sight? I watched every interview, every keynote he's done, and it's got nothing to do with the algorithm or your titles and thumbnails. In this video, we're breaking down Neil Mohan's 5 core strategies.
This thing that really comes across in all of our videos, whether they're shorts or not, is just be yourself. Be true to yourself. And that is sounds sort of very cliched, but I wish somebody had given me that advice early in my career.
So what Neil is really saying here is to focus on being more authentic. And I know for sure that everyone throws this word around. The problem is, I guarantee you right now, if you just show up on camera and just be yourself, no one is gonna care. That's a very wishful way to think about it. And so I think we have to really define, what does Neil actually mean by being authentic?
There are 4 pieces to this puzzle. The first one being probably the easiest thing to do is to talk about your interests. So I was on a call recently with one of our clients and I was trying to explain this. I guess we're not in my room right now, but back home in my studio, I have 2 pictures on the wall. I pointed to the first picture, it's like, do you know who that is? And they're like, yeah, that's Michael Jordan. And then we started talking about like basketball and like what your favorite, like, oh yeah, like I used to grow up watching basketball with my dad in the 90s. And it's like, I just learned so much about this person. And then I pointed to the other picture on my wall. Do you remember what it is?
Is it the In-N-Out burger?
Yes. Okay. It's an In-N-Out burger. Yeah. It's like a truck with an In-N-Out burger logo on it. I was like, yeah, that's In-N-Out burger. I'm not like faulting you for not knowing it, but if you were from the West Coast, then we have problems because that's my favorite burger joint. Yeah. We started talking about like, oh, he liked White Castle. I was like, okay, sure. Like we talk about Harold and Kumar and
White Castle's pretty good too.
Yeah. So like it just goes down when you start giving a person a point of interest to latch onto. Then it opens opportunities for connection.
So one of the best strategies right now to grow on YouTube is to make niche content, right? You want to make your whole channel about a specific transformation, as we call it. Not just a big topic like a transformation. And a lot of people, when I say that and we say, oh, just share things that you like, they're like, well, I can't talk about everything because I have to make niche content. And that's where I think you're totally missing the point about being authentic. For example, on this channel, we teach people how to build creator companies with YouTube. And it comes through in the way that you explain things, the analogies that you use, the stories that you use, to help someone understand that concept. So we love video games, so we'll often use like examples of Dota, Smash Bros, and we love those games. And so if you are someone who also grew up playing Nintendo nostalgia, then the way that we make examples to business concepts by explaining it through video games, you'll probably connect with us a lot more. And that's something that you can't get from another channel. Maybe your channel, if you don't play video games, you like surfing, or you like skateboarding, or you like cooking, or something like that. You can use those examples of your interests, but weave it into helping someone transform their life.
We were talking about Dota the other day.
As we do often.
As we do often. For those of you who don't know, it's a game where there's 5 versus 5, people playing different roles. We were talking about in business, how we separate our roles so that we are covering and specializing in different things. I generally take on the role who's kind of like the team strategist, calling the shots and getting the team rallied up for like big objectives. And so that's kind of the role that I gravitated towards in our business, where I'm like doing the hiring, I'm doing the culture, I'm doing the managing of the team members. Operations. Whereas you tend to play the carry role, as they so call it, where you basically put the team on your back and you carry us and you're the most skilled usually, and you just destroy the other team.
But I need everyone to support me in doing
We all need to support you in that. It makes sense that you're gravitating towards a role in our business where you're heading the content, you're making sure that we're building an audience, we're bringing customers to us, partnerships and everything. Like people are coming to us because of
like front-facing brand stuff.
Front-facing. That analogy is what we've taught to many of our students, but taught through the metaphor of a video game.
Of Dota.
of Dota specifically.
Right, and if you've played MOBAs before, you'll understand immediately what we're talking about. Like you have support roles, you have carry roles, you have mid roles, you have offlaners, stuff like that. Like that concept can be explained to business. And that's what we obsess and nerd over.
That's why some of my favorite YouTubers are people like Dr. K. So Dr. K, for those of you who don't know, he helps people with mental health.
Also plays Dota.
Also plays Dota, that's right. He makes an impact on a giant scale. Right? And so it's just AoE healing, like you're a healer. And it does it all at the same time. It's just such a brilliant metaphor. But sharing your interests this way makes you so much more memorable.
But it's just one piece of authenticity.
1 piece out of 4, right? So yeah, the next one here. So these are your opinions.
Well, I would say that this one is probably the most important one of all 4 of these pieces right now because of AI. I like to think about authenticity on a spectrum. On one end, you have someone who's very authentic, very real, very themselves. And on the opposite of the spectrum, I call it artificial intelligence, AI, whatever you want to call it, right? If you want to teach an idea about something and you fed it to AI, or you had yourself explain it, the thing that's going to separate you is your opinion. That's like the only thing that people will come back to your channel for is like, what is your worldview? What is your thought process about this idea, this video, this concept? Here's an example of an opinion from this channel right here. On this channel, our whole goal is to help creators build creator companies. But we don't want to just help any creator because our opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have the same opinion about this, but we think the most valuable brands in the future will be brands that educate and also empower, that inspire people, but also give value. The people who would follow our channel and get our opinion from there, we don't really want to help you make like brain rot, slop content, or just like trendy stuff to just like scam people. We want to help people build businesses that educate. That's our opinion, right? Maybe someone else who is interested in like faceless AI content, their opinion would be this is the best kind of brand to build. And so we wanted to really differentiate ourselves from what we believe in is this, and what these guys believe in is that.
That's a great example. And to your point, when you're saying that anyone can just chat GPT, what are the top 5 ways to grow on YouTube or something like that? You could get points from ChatGPT, say like get 20 points from ChatGPT, but then you as a human being go through with your opinions and your beliefs, just pick the 7 that resonate most with you, that you have opinions about, and share those. These are 7 that I found to be useful. I think that's just zooming out in the bigger picture. When you're making videos, don't think about like how to grow on YouTube. It's how I grow on YouTube. So change how to how I. And that is probably one of the easiest ways to lead with your opinions in your content. The next one actually ties in very well here, right? If you're picking which points you want to talk about, which ones do you actually have stories about? That is the next one, is to tell your stories. And again, this comes back to AI. I would argue that AI doesn't actually have memories. Like, sure, it's trained on virtually everybody's memories, but it doesn't have my memories. My memories are very specific. Like, I have lived through certain times, and my limited memory makes me who I am. So, for example, I grew up in an Asian household. I had a mom and a dad. I went to school. I became a doctor, quit my job, went to YouTube, working at Spotter. These are my memories. Right, this is my life. The AI is trained on everybody's collective memory, and so it doesn't really have a true persona. And so it can't really tell great stories. It could probably tell like the story of, I don't know, the story of George Washington or the story of some historical figure.
Right.
But I can tell my stories, and that's something AI cannot do. You want to lead with authenticity, you have to tell your stories.
Right.
That is a must.
It took me a while to like wrap my head around as well. You can tell the same story a lot. In fact, I think it's beneficial to tell the same story a lot. But I guarantee you right now, go look at your channel analytics. What is the percentage of subscribed users watching and non-subscribed users watching? Every video, you're getting new traffic, and they probably haven't heard your story before. So just thinking of the big creators out there that we follow, obviously in the education space, we got like Alex Hormozi, Layla Hormozi, Christo, all these people, every single video, they tell the same freaking story about their life. And you should get bored of telling your story far sooner than anyone else will. And honestly, no one else cares that you tell your story a lot. They need the reminder because it brings back that relatability, right? It's like, remember, this is who I am. And this is why you're watching my channel, because you hear our story. You've probably heard on this channel many times, we talk about we were both doctors and we quit being doctors to become YouTubers because we found there's a big gap and problem in the education space. And we want to help people not go through that same struggle and turmoil and build some self-reliance. Like, you're going to hear us tell that story of us being doctors and quitting almost in every single video. But that's why people will come back to us, because they recognize that story. And all those ups and downs we've had in our story, we can share those opinions, going back to the first point, that helps shape why we believe what we do.
Alex Hormozi has mentioned that he has slept on the floor at the gym countless times.
Learned a little bit of the ropes, started a gym in Huntington Beach, didn't have enough money for both, slept on the floor there because, could only pay one rent.
Whenever he mentions that, it just reminds me of all these frameworks that he talks about in $100 million offers, because he used that story and then he connects it there. And so whenever he mentions that story, it just pulls on all the threads that I've already learned from him. So it's actually very helpful to repeat those things. So we can't stress enough how important storytelling is to your YouTube channel. It's the difference between a channel that gets barely any views to a channel that doesn't just go viral, but makes a very deep connection with their audience. There are so many different techniques when it comes to storytelling. I mean, we've made countless videos. Our entire program, there's storytelling baked into it. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. We'll have links down below for you. And the last point here about authenticity is what we call the vibe. This one is a little harder to describe because it's not something that you say. Like your interests, your opinions, storytelling, these are things that you can actually say in your videos.
Yeah.
But this one is more of look and feel. It is the way you say it, not what you say. It's like the clothes you wear. It is like whether you decide to have a beard or not, whether you decide to wear a hat. It's a feel. But when people feel like they are home, they'll know it.
I think vibe really comes back down to self-love and self-awareness. Two different things, I would say. A long time ago, I made this video on the channel that was a reaction piece because I thought good content on YouTube is content that's funny. And I was really into reaction content back then. I was like, oh, I could probably make a really funny video like that. I made a video reacting to a breatharian, which is, I don't know, this like...
Forgot about that video.
It's a lifestyle where you don't eat a lot of food or something like that. I forget what it was. And I thought it was a really good video. But some of the comments I got from that video were just people saying like, dude, you're not funny. This didn't come off right. And I'm just like, oh, I guess it just didn't come out right. What I'm trying to say is the vibe that you give off to people might not be the vibe that they're getting, you know? So the best way to figure out is ask the people who are closest to you, what do you think about me? Like what kind of vibe do I give off? And that may very well not be what you think the vibe you're giving off is. If people think that you're not funny, but you're very analytical or you're very caring or you're very empathetic, then lean into those strengths that you do have. So those are 4 tactical ways that you can be more authentic on camera. People can technically fake authenticity if you just follow those 4 steps. It's gonna be a lot harder to sustain if you just have to fake your way to being authentic. And there's actually a really easy way that Neil Mohan talks about where you can combine that with what you actually want to do.
2 pieces of advice that I give to somebody thinking about building a career on YouTube. The first is really think hard about what type of content you're passionate about.
Yeah, so what he's saying here actually reminds me of the paradox, right? The passion versus profit. Which one do you go for as a creator? In YouTube's case, I would say that it's passion that actually leads to profit.
Because if you are not making stuff that you are passionate about, your audience can tell. I mean, I can remember from our first channel on Koi, when we were thinking about pivoting niches, before we wanted to pivot out of like helping you get better grades and into building skills for self-reliance and business, I think people could tell that we stopped having the full heart into the student community. And our views went down with it. You know, like people could tell that these guys are not really into the getting better grades idea anymore. Our passion was kind of misaligned, and with it, our profit went down as well.
I mean, people inside our team could tell. And if our team can tell, then I'm sure the viewers could tell too. I would say that passion is a hard thing to hide. Like how deep you go in a topic, how good your information actually is, whether it's superficial, like, oh, I'm just doing it for the profit, I'm just doing the reps, or you actually are going down rabbit holes because you actually care so much about this topic. That comes out in the value of your content. Outside of what people see on the screen, I think what's more important about passion is what is going on inside. We talk about this a lot on our first channel, motivation. YouTube is a game where you just don't stop. And the people who don't stop are the ones with intrinsic motivation, not extrinsic. Right? All the extrinsic motivation is, I'm doing YouTube for the money, I'm doing YouTube for the clout, I'm doing YouTube for the views, for the subscribers. But at the end of the day, what do you want to do that you might not even get paid for, that you just can't help yourself but to create? That is the most intrinsically motivating thing. That is what passion is. So there's research that shows that when you actually show authentic passion for the products that you are sponsoring, that you're promoting for other brands, people can detect that. People can feel like you are passionate about this thing that you're promoting. So, for example, when we promoted Notion, we love Notion, right?
There's Notion right there right now.
Exactly. It shows. But when we talk about it, it shows too. In the videos that you make, you deep dive and you walk through all the tactics. Like, people can see that. It's pretty obvious. It comes out, right? Like, we're just kind of reading the scripts. Like, oh, yeah, there's this thing that we think you should try. We did that once. I don't think we ever should do that again. It's just not authentic. It's not great alignment. Probably didn't even do justice for that brand.
I don't think they probably didn't get many conversions out of it.
No.
And at the end of the day, we didn't feel great. I mean, we got paid out of it, but we didn't really feel great about. And I think the reason that passion is so crucial for all creators to really embody is the fact that YouTube is such a long game. It took us 4 years and 430 videos, I think, to hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. If you're not passionate about something, what makes you think you're going to survive that long?
That's like a whole university. That's 4 years at university, pretty much.
Right.
There was a study by The Tilt where they studied a lot of creators, and they found that on average, a creator would take about 12 months to be able to go full time. It depends on like how much money you're making. Like different people have different like qualities of life and stuff. And then at 18 months is when the creators are saying that they can actually support themselves full time financially. So there's a difference between considering yourself being a pro creator or full-time creator versus actually making the money to support yourself. So if YouTube does take that long, YouTube is a marathon, it's not a sprint. What are a few things that you should keep in mind when you're trying to do YouTube?
Yeah, I think the first and most important thing is setting expectations for yourself. And I think there's one thing that they always optimize for, which is against quitting. To me, like the opposite of being really productive is being burnt out. You know, when you're burnt out, no matter how badly you want it, you just can't get there. I think a problem with YouTube compared to all of the other social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube is by far the hardest. Everything about YouTube is just hard mode. Really figure out what is a posting cadence and type of video format that you can do consistently, not necessarily the one that you really want to do or that you really like. You know, there's a big difference. I'll give an example. My girlfriend has been telling me that she has wanted to start a YouTube channel for the past 3 years, as long as I've known her. I'm always like, yes, like absolutely, like freaking go, like I love YouTube, like it's the best place to be, you should make content. And the videos that she always shows me that she wants to make are these very, very elaborate vlogs. She always starts trying to make them, and then she'll never get past editing like the first 5 minutes of it. I always tell her, I'm like, hun, what you're trying to get to is too far. Like you're not a videographer, you didn't go to film school, you don't know how to make videos. Why are you going for hard mode? So like the videos that we first made weren't vlogs. It was just you talking to a camera, right? Like just talking ahead, get your ideas out, get the reps in of the steps of putting a video together and putting it out there first. Don't try to go 0 to 100. And then you suddenly want to do this Mr. Beast style video that's going to take 5 days and a whole bunch of production and stuff. Maybe you're shooting too far with that strategy. Take smaller steps first so that you can get the reps and consistency. You can play this for the long game.
I would say one of the most important mindsets to adopt is to think of YouTube as something that compounds over time. If you're going to do this for a long time, it better compound. A lot of people like to compare that to a garden. The more you water the garden, the more it flourishes. So it's exact same way with your YouTube library. You shouldn't think about every single video as just a one-off, like, hey, let me just try to go viral once. And if it doesn't work, I'll just keep trying to go viral again and again. Thinking about each individual in isolation is the problem. But if you think about every single video as part of a portfolio, like you have series going on where each video connects to another video and you can backlink. We can call out like different topics that we've already talked about and link them here and link them there. That is a compounding asset, especially if you're growing a business.
I think I talked about that idea in a previous video. I called it the domino effect. The thing about domino is that you never know when the first domino is going to fall over though. You can post a bunch of dominoes and then suddenly one can hit and then all of them will fall over. So a good example of this is on our first channel, Koi, actually. We probably posted about 10 or 15 study videos before one of them kind of took off. But after that one took off, then we started seeing all of our back catalog actually start getting increased impressions and views too, because the algorithm finally found the fit. And then they started getting served our old catalog of content. So I guess what you're saying is it's all about delayed gratification. So just because you have videos that are not like getting hundreds of thousands of views, or maybe they start off as like 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, don't beat yourself up for it because it could always resurface and come back, right?
And every single one of these videos is working around the clock, getting you more views, getting you more customers, even when you're sleeping, even if it's 3 or 4 years old.
That people don't come to YouTube because of, the amazing technology that we build into the app. Of course we have to do that. That's that stage metaphor I used before.
Yeah.
But it's because they have these creators that they love, that they're connected with. And so the community is happening everywhere. You watch a video, they're happening in the comments below the video.
I think what Neil's saying here is extra important for brands that are educational, because of one of these new features that he just announced a couple days ago about how you can, as a channel now, you can sell ad placements for previous videos. You can start to monetize your back catalog of videos by letting brands put ad placement in there. So if you have evergreen content, they call it evergreen content, which is content that always gets searched through SEO, through keywords, or still gets views, weeks, months, years afterwards. Those videos can still generate you deals. down the line. And I think that's such a big update for the way that YouTube's going.
And I have one more mindset here for playing the long game. And it comes back to this quote that we say often. If you want to go fast, then go alone. But if you want to go far, build a company, build a team, do it together. Segues nicely into the next point, which is the only way to succeed doing a YouTube channel together is to think about it like a business. Because you have rules, you have guidelines, you have delegation of roles. Like all of this is what makes a successful YouTube channel.
Obviously, we're biased because we run a creator company, but don't listen to us. Listen to what Neil has to say.
The other thing that I think people don't recognize as much is that not only are they amazing creative people, they are true entrepreneurs. They have basically a Hollywood studio, 100 people, pre-production, production, writers' rooms.
So if you want to think about YouTube like a business, you got to realize that YouTube is only one arm of the business. It's the marketing arm. It's the way that you get new customers and viewers to your brand. It's only one piece in the entire machine of the business. You got the operations side, you got fulfillment, you got admin. There's so many other parts to the business. But I think a lot of creators get trapped in just thinking about the YouTube.
There's this interesting idea. I'm not sure where it first came from, where I heard of it, where there's two types of people who do YouTube. We have the artist and then we have the entrepreneur, where the artist is obsessed with making videos. They just like being creative. They like expressing their ideas. And money is the last thing on their mind. And then you have the entrepreneur, who entrepreneurs, they build businesses. And what's the definition of a business? It is entity that makes money. Mm-hmm. So an entrepreneur is focused on how do I make money with this? Being a YouTuber is interesting because if you want to survive as a YouTube channel, you kind of have to think about both of those. Because it's the artist that makes things that people remember and relate to and builds that like unique brand that you're building. If it's entrepreneur side, that's going to help you turn it into something that lasts. Yeah. And so you have to have both of those brains together, which is one reason why I think we operate so well, because we naturally lean into both of those spectrums, where you're much more the entrepreneur side, I'm a little bit more on the artist side. But it's why our skill sets complement each other to build something that has turned into a company, where now we have people on the team, and then we're able to offload a lot of that responsibility. If YouTube is a business and businesses have to make money. And we're looking at the current landscape of the creator economy, and specifically on YouTube. What is the way that most creator companies make money? It's through brand deals, right? Yeah. Brand deals and partnerships. How this could look like in your creator company is that someone on the artist side, we'll call them usually the creative director or the creative team, are making videos. Now, on the other side of that, we have someone who is the entrepreneur who is going there and negotiating brand deals, right? Or making partnerships happen, or finding, people to fund this project to keep it going. But neither of them can survive without the other. You can't pitch brands if your content sucks. And that's what it means to build a company, where you have like this whole network of value being pulled from brands and to your content and to your audience. Like all three of those have to work really well together. And that's actually like where we really nerd out about this, because seeing that whole system work together, like audience, brand, and creator company, that is so fun to like understand the systems and how that works and how it operates and stuff. That's what we're really excited to share. And that's why we're so excited about building these channels to learn about those things.
Right. I'm glad you brought up the brand deals, because 50% of successful creators make their money through multiple revenue streams. So if you want to think about your channel as a business, you have to have diversification in mind.
Yeah, I mean, like brand deals we talked about is one of those avenues. But if you're like, the operational mind of the business and your business isn't selling, brand deals and stuff, it could be building a product. It could be building digital products. It could be a coaching program. It could be consulting. Whatever that looks like has a lot of operational costs to it, right? You might have to build team members or build programs so that your customers who they join have something really valuable that they're getting from your business, right? More than just the content itself. I think this is super relevant, especially for the quote unquote businesses that aren't creator first. Think about businesses that are education-based or founder-led businesses, where the main product that they're selling might not be brand deals and partnerships. They might be selling a high-ticket offer behind it, a coaching program or something like that, which is something that we've been involved in, and we've paid for many coaching programs. YouTube is one of the best places to market that kind of product, like an education or outcome-focused result, right?
People come to YouTube to search for questions, to search for answers to their problems. They're already in a mindset ready to be coached. Mm-hmm. So that's why YouTube is a perfect place.
Yeah, like a long time ago, people, if you had a problem, you would search for like what, Yellow Pages, or you ask your friends. You ask your friend, yeah, you know that, right? Yeah. Like to find help with doing something, And nowadays, the first place I look for, no matter what kind of problem, like this studio that we're in right now, the first place I looked up to how to set up audio and all this stuff was YouTube, you know? And I only found a handful of people doing the kind of work that I was like, oh, this is really valuable, and I would want to reach out to them and find out more. There are so many of those like little niche untapped markets that any business, if you are operating without YouTube, there's a huge opportunity to present that service to the world. And it doesn't matter how high ticket it is. If you're the only one in that market, you can charge whatever price you want. And this brings us to the last piece of advice that I got from Neil Mohan, which I think is probably one of the most valuable lessons for entrepreneurs and business owners.
Our fundamental business model is an advertising model, and that's because we're large scale, right? Like it is a way to reach a very large pool of people with your content if it's ad supported. But I also think that entrepreneurs should think about other types of monetization models like SVOD. We have a subscription business, right, with YouTube Premium, direct fan funding models, right, especially if you have niche content.
If you think about it, the audience, your viewers, your community, that is the product. It's not the videos. The videos is a tool to get to the audience. So YouTube is giving us all these tools, but a lot of creators are not fully utilizing all of them to their fullest potential. For example, some channels, they only do short form content and they just disregard long forms or they disregard live streams. They're only focused on one thing, but there's so many different ways to reach your audience. YouTube dominates in every single vertical. It's number one on the television. It's the most popular place where people go to get their podcasts. Obviously, it dominates in long form. And now it dominates in short form content as well in terms of viewership. And different audiences prefer different things. Ultimately, you want to meet the audience where they're at.
So that means make some long form videos, make ultra long form videos as podcasts, make shorts, do community posts, go live. You don't necessarily have to do all these on the same channel as well. Like you can start multiple channels, a shorts channel, a long channel, which is what we see many big brands do, and then a separate podcast channel, maybe. It doesn't hurt to have like 3 different like series almost on YouTube at the same time. But the reason you would do that is you would capture a different audience for every single one.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to make a different piece of content for each vertical. You can actually repurpose the same content for every vertical. So a great example would be, let's say you go on a live stream and you do a podcast, right? Ultra long form. You can actually take that podcast and clip it into medium videos, medium length being like 10, 15-minute videos, traditional long form. And then you can take those and clip those into shorts. And YouTube just makes it super easy. You just go in the analytics and you see what parts of the ultra long have the highest retention rate. And you look into the medium ones and see which ones of those have the most high retention moments. And then those become the shorts.
And what I love about that strategy is it's just giving your ideas new life in different places. Great sound bites can become shorts. Great ideas can become medium, long form. Like people might consume all of those, and you might just capture the people who consume shorts. The whole idea here is, like you said, to meet your audience where they are. If people want to read posts and not watch anything, YouTube also has community posts. And I think a lot of creators just might not be paying attention to it, but we said at the beginning, tools. YouTube also just announced a new feature that they're going to allow you to clip in their tool. you can make short clips from your long videos.
AI clips.
AI clips. Like AI can just find the best moments and clip it out because I'm sure the AI tools have data and analytics from your channel, like in your YouTube studio. Or if you don't want to just take clips, you can always just re-record the same video, right? It's probably a lot easier to re-record another video with the same idea than to just try to splice together like a short video, you know, with no hook and you're just trying to like piece it together. Like I said at the beginning, there's nothing wrong with retelling your story. There's nothing wrong with remaking the same videos that teach the same principles, just in different, like very nuanced different ways. Like maybe for us, like we do this all the time. We made how many videos about productivity and learning?
Yeah, so according to some studies, 73% of consumers now favor short form videos when they're seeking information about products or services. Makes sense, right? Think about TikTok Shop, you think about shopping on Instagram. Well, YouTube, just as powerful. More powerful because YouTube Shorts gets more views than both of those platforms. And in a study by McKinsey, they found that 59% of Gen Zers use short form video to discover long form content.
That's another YouTube tool right there. They allow you to link in their description, right? A link to the long form video.
Exactly. So while a lot of creators are just obsessing over the YouTube algorithm, right, trying to find hacks and ways to beat the algorithm, Neil Mohan, the CEO, is saying it's not about that. It's much bigger than that. At the end of the day, it just comes back to the fundamentals. What is the human psychology that actually builds connection? We talked about things like authenticity, following content you're actually passionate about, building genuine connection with your audience and your viewers. And if you're going to play the long game with this, we definitely recommend that you build systems as you go, so that you're never reinventing the wheel every time you figure out a new video. So we actually built an entire YouTube operating system in Notion. This was over the course of years of us building and breaking systems, getting to 1 million subscribers, building a team of 15 to 20 people, scaling up, scaling down, basically monetizing in every single way possible that we found on YouTube, from affiliates to sponsorships. Everything that we've learned about YouTube has been built into Notion. And if you want to just steal that entire thing with a click of a button, then just check it out right here.